Ever been called lazy for staying up late or crazy for talking to yourself? Science says the joke's on them. Your weirdest quirks might actually be hidden markers of a genius-level brain. Today, we're revealing 5 strange habits of people with high IQ. Are you a genius and didn't know it? Habit 1. Messy desks and creativity. Ever feel like your desk is a disaster zone? You might have been told that a cluttered space means a cluttered mind, but science actually points to the exact opposite. If your workspace looks like a paper tornado hit it, you are in good company with some of the greatest minds in history, like Albert Einstein and Mark Twain. When your environment is a little messy, it forces your brain to focus on what really matters. Instead of spending mental energy on filing papers and organizing pens, your mind is free to jump between new ideas. We are diving deep into the secrets of the human mind, and if you want to keep uncovering the truth about your own potential, make sure to hit that subscribe button right now. Joining this community means you'll never miss out on the science behind why you think the way you do. Think about the last time you tried to organize everything perfectly. Did you feel more creative, or did you just feel bored? Most highly intelligent people find that once they clean everything up, their best ideas seem to disappear. The mess acts as a sort of visual brainstorm where an old note or a random book can spark a brand new thought. This ability to thrive in a non-linear environment is a classic sign of a high IQ. It shows that your brain is wired for complexity rather than just simple order. Habit 2. Talking to yourself. Do you ever catch yourself having a full conversation with no one else in the room? While some people might look at you funny or think it is a bit strange, talking to yourself is actually a high-level cognitive tool. In fact, it is a habit shared by some of the most brilliant thinkers to ever live. When you speak your thoughts out loud, you aren't just making noise, you are actually using a powerful technique to organize your mind and boost your brain power. The reason this habit is so common among people with a high IQ is that it helps with something called executive function. When you talk to yourself, you are essentially acting as your own coach. You are moving abstract ideas from the back of your mind to the front, making them tangible and easier to manage. If you are struggling with a difficult problem, saying the steps out loud helps you stay on track and prevents your mind from wandering. It turns a chaotic internal monologue into a clear, structured plan. Science has even shown that this habit can improve your physical performance and memory. In various studies, researchers found that people who repeated the names of objects out loud were able to find them much faster than those who stayed silent. This is because the sound of your own voice triggers a visual response in your brain. You are giving your mind a double dose of information, once when you think it, and once when you hear it. This reinforcement makes your focus much sharper and your memory more reliable. Highly intelligent people often use self-talk to regulate their emotions as well. When things get stressful, talking through the situation in the third person can help you gain a sense of perspective. It allows you to step outside of your own head and look at the problem as if you were helping a friend. This mental distance is key to making logical, rational decisions when everyone else is panicking. It is also a sign of a very active working memory. Because your brain is processing information at a high speed, the vocalization acts as a release valve, helping you keep pace with your own thoughts. So, the next time you find yourself whispering your to-do list or debating a complex idea with yourself in the mirror, don't feel embarrassed. You are simply using a sophisticated method to sharpen your intellect and master your environment. Your brain is working at a higher frequency, and speaking out loud is just the way you keep it all in sync. Habit 3. Stay up late. While most of the world is sound asleep, do you find yourself wide awake with your best ideas suddenly coming to life? For a long time, society has praised the early bird, but modern research suggests that being a night owl is a significant marker of a high IQ. If you struggle to drag yourself out of bed at dawn but feel a surge of energy and clarity once the sun goes down, your brain might simply be wired for a different level of complexity. This connection between late nights and intelligence goes back to our very roots as a species. Historically, humans were diurnal creatures, meaning we worked during the day and slept at night to stay safe. Choosing to stay awake into the dark hours was an evolutionary novelty. It required a mind that was willing to go against the grain and explore new patterns of behavior. This tendency to drift away from natural rhythms is often seen in people with higher cognitive abilities because their brains are naturally more inclined to seek out unique experiences and unconventional schedules. Beyond evolution, there is a very practical reason why the smartest people thrive in the middle of the night. The world is loud, fast, and full of distractions during the day. Emails, phone calls, and social obligations create a constant stream of noise that can interrupt deep thinking. At 2:00 a.m., that noise disappears. This silence provides a unique psychological space where a high IQ mind can finally stretch out and focus on one thing without being pulled in a dozen different directions. It is in this quiet window that the brain can engage in deep work, solving puzzles, or creating art that requires total immersion. Studies have consistently shown that children with higher IQ scores grow up to be adults who stay up much later on both weekdays and weekends. It isn't just about being a rebel, it is about how the brain processes information. Night owls often demonstrate a higher level of mental stamina. While early risers might start the day strong, they often see a decline in their cognitive performance as the hours pass. Highly intelligent night owls, however, tend to see their focus and reaction times improve the longer they stay awake. This habit of staying up late also links back to a higher capacity for curiosity. When your mind is constantly asking questions and seeking answers, it is hard to just switch it off because the clock says it is bedtime. You stay up because you are genuinely engaged with the world or a specific project. This drive to keep going, even when the rest of the world has quit, is what often leads to the breakthroughs and innovations that set intelligent people apart. Habit 4. Loneliness. Have you ever noticed that the smarter someone is, the more they seem to crave time away from everyone else? While society often views being alone as a sign of loneliness or social awkwardness, for highly intelligent people, solitude is a deliberate choice and a vital necessity. If you find yourself turning down social invitations or feeling a deep sense of relief when a plan gets cancelled, it might be because your brain is wired to find more satisfaction in your own company than in a crowd. This phenomenon is often explained by the Savannah theory of happiness. Research suggests that while most people feel happier when they spend more time with friends, people with a high IQ actually report lower life satisfaction when they socialize too frequently. For a highly intelligent person, the traditional social structure of a large group can feel restrictive or even boring. They often find that casual small talk is mentally exhausting because it lacks the depth and complexity their minds naturally seek. Solitude provides the perfect environment for something called metacognition, which is essentially thinking about your own thoughts. When you are alone, your brain doesn't have to navigate the social cues, emotions, or expectations of others. This freedom allows you to dive deep into internal problem-solving and self-reflection. It is during these periods of isolation that the most brilliant ideas are usually born. Intelligent people use their alone time to process the massive amounts of information they take in throughout the day, connecting dots that others might miss because they are too busy interacting. Furthermore, people with high intelligence tend to be more self-reliant. They often have intense interests or complex hobbies that require long hours of undivided attention. Whether it is coding, reading, or masterminding a new project, these activities are often solitary by nature. To an observer, it might look like they are isolating themselves, but to the person with the high IQ, they are simply engaging in a high-reward activity that brings them more joy than a crowded party ever could. This need for solitude isn't about being antisocial, it is about being selective. Intelligent people value quality over quantity in every aspect of their lives, especially their relationships. They would rather have one deep, meaningful conversation than 50 shallow ones. By spending time alone, they preserve their mental energy for what truly matters, ensuring their brain stays sharp and ready for the next big challenge. Habit 5. Daydreaming and zoning out. Do you ever find yourself staring out a window, completely lost in a world of your own making, only to realize several minutes have passed? While teachers or bosses might call this zoning out or a lack of focus, daydreaming is actually a sign of an incredibly efficient brain. If your mind tends to wander during mundane tasks, it isn't because you are distracted, it is because your brain has more than enough power to handle the present moment and still have energy left over to explore other possibilities. This habit is common among people with high IQs because it reflects a high-capacity working memory. When your brain is highly efficient, it processes your immediate surroundings very quickly. Once the basic information is handled, the surplus mental energy kicks in, leading you into complex scenarios, future planning, or creative storytelling. In fact, research has shown that people who report frequent daydreaming often score higher on intellectual and creative tests. Their minds are constantly training by running simulations and exploring ideas that haven't happened yet. Daydreaming is essentially a form of high-level problem solving. When you let your mind wander, you are engaging in a process where the brain connects distant pieces of information. This is why your best ideas often come to you when you are doing something simple, like washing dishes or taking a walk. By stepping away from direct focus, you allow your subconscious to take over and bridge the gaps that your conscious mind couldn't reach. It is a state of incubation, where the most difficult puzzles are solved behind the scenes. For the highly intelligent, a wandering mind is a tool for innovation. It allows for a constant stream of what-if scenarios that lead to new perspectives. So, if you are someone who frequently drifts off into your own thoughts, don't view it as a weakness. It is a sign that your mind is too vast to be contained by just the task in front of you. Your brain is a powerful engine that is always running, even when you appear to be doing nothing at all. So, if you're a messy night owl who talks to yourself, prefers solitude, and daydreams constantly, congratulations. These aren't flaws, they are the distinct signatures of a high-functioning mind. Your strange habits are simply proof that your brain is wired for something greater. Embrace your quirks, they might just be your genius.